Hello and welcome to the Path of Least Resistance New Player's Guide. I am Sai, and today we're going to go over days 18 and 19. And for days 18 and 19, mostly we've been shifting our focus to actually focusing on what we're doing. So we're picking specific champions and we're going and taking them through every adventure that they have to do so that we can just clear that out. That way we can finish all the adventures, which is the whole point of this thing to start with. So on day 18 we finished off our Nami. So we ran Nami through everything that could be ran through. So Dragon Sire the Colossus, that's the Galio adventure, Twisted Fate, Uju Bladesman, Tidal Trickster, Ancient Fear 6.5. That one was really easy, so I didn't record it, because you just do normal Nami things and you win. We did the Frost Witch. That took me a couple tries, I think? No, that one was fine. We took Price of Progress at the Ethereal Remitter, and then we got 2 Namis on board, I think, from an Entomb. And then Price of Progress makes spells cost 2 less, and your units cost 1 more. So I took that over Natural Magic because Natural Magic also impacts our opponent's spells, and I didn't want that to happen. And then once 2 Namis were on board, we were able to get advantage of playing her cards, and we were able to play them infinitely. If you were to get created cards cost 1 less, it would have the same effect. So that's how you would do that. We did the Noxian Grand General. That is the Swain adventure. Because Nami can heal herself forever, it's really not a problem. We also got Duplicate to start with, so that helped. We did the Grand Heist, which actually took me more than 1 try with Nami. Or actually, we switched to Lux after that. So that finished off all of Nami, then we switched to Lux. We took the Grand Heist, and Ezreal beat me, and it was sad. I think he just played like a bunch of giant units to start with. Then we ran through the Ancient Fear, the Dragon Sire the Colossus, the Wuju Bladesman, and Lissandra. And so that finished off all of the Demacia requirements. I think I have none of those left. And all the Bilgewater requirements, I have none of those left. And we needed then a Targon thing. And we also needed to do actually a Demacia requirement using Lux. And the Demacia requirement for the Noxian Grand General, and I was going to use Lux, there we go. But instead, you kind of have to reroll for fortifications if you wanted that to happen, otherwise you just get swarmed too fast and you don't get a setup well enough, unless you get like mana gems also. So you either need mana gem or fortifications, and I decided I just didn't want to reroll forever. So you have, in order to reroll for a better than common power, you need to beat the first adventure and then restart. And beating the first adventure and restarting just takes like 10 minutes every time, and I just didn't feel like doing that. So I wanted to unlock Morgana anyway so I can make videos using a 3-star Morgana. So I did that, and that cost me 50 wild shards to do. But it's fine because Morgana's amazing. And so we unlocked Morgana, and then we put her up against the Thresh adventure just for XP. It takes you from level 1 to level 8. And then I did the Star Forger with a Greater Cosmic Blessing, which took me to level 30. That's what you're watching on screen right now, my attempt against Aurelion Sol. First time didn't go so well, second time went better. The thing about Morgana is she's incredible, so using her is really fun. Little time consuming because you end up playing her champion spell a lot. But the fact that she can stun enemies just by targeting them, not really stun, but make them immobile, just by targeting them and adding that curse, means that she is incredibly powerful. So you can use her, like you're seeing here, at level 8 against Aurelion Sol without any relics at all, because the relic we're using is Greater Cosmic Blessing, which just gives you XP. So we were able to do that. I'm sure some luck was involved. I'm not a good enough player that I think I would win this every single time. And then it was the start of the new week, so we did 4 of the weeklies. I haven't done the 5 or the 6-star because I don't want to. I'm going to save them for when the weekly quest is out. But also I might just not do them. The 6-star is really hard this week. It has Endure, which when a thing is summoned it gets +2/+2. And then it gets hit by Deadly, and then you also have created cards, or every time you play a card it costs 2 more. And just like the combination of all that is kind of mean. There's a bunch of units on the board immediately, and it's just not nice. We can probably get through it with Yasuo, but I also don't care about gemstones. They're not going to impact me in any significant way. Honestly, on either account that I have, right? Gemstones just aren't that appealing. So it might be worth it to just skip it this week if I can't get it in one shot. But we'll see. I'm going to wait for Wednesday for that anyway, for the weekly quest to reset. After we did weeklies 1 through 4, which honestly we didn't get anything we were looking for. We got duplicates from both the reliquaries, and I think our golds and silver vaults weren't that good on top of that. So from weekly 4 we got Leona. That's actually okay. That puts us up to 100 Leona fragments, so we can get her to 3-star, which means we'll probably use her against Lissandra for one of the extra things. And then, we got 10 Akshan fragments, which is completely useless. Although we are going to invest in him a little bit, get him to at least 4-star and see what he can do there. We just have so many shards. And if his 4-star actually makes him playable, then we can clear out all the Shurima adventures with him, and then we can skip out on Nidalee, which would open up some extra shards for us, because right now we still need 40 Nidalee fragments, and our total fragments that we need is 380. We're at 294. We don't really have good sources of fragments anymore, so we get the 5 daily wild, so that's going to be 50 total for the rest of the time we're doing this, which isn't enough to get all of the requirements, so we're going to need to make some cuts somewhere. Evelyn is probably the most obvious cut. We're probably going to just replace that with Fiddlesticks, which is fine. I love Fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks is great. And then if we can cut Nidalee, that's probably also okay. We also didn't find anything for Elise, but we're replacing with Viego, who's at 2-star. So we're going to need 40 fragments there, so let's say we put 40 there, and like 20 here for Fiddlesticks. That would change our requirements to 340, which is doable. Yeah. And we still need a second Shadow Isles. So if it's... I think we're close on Gwen. I might end up having to do that, which again is fine. Gwen is fine. It's not what I had planned on, but, you know, always get what you want. And then you just make do with what you have. So we have 80 Gwen fragments, so Gwen would cost us 20. Viego is around somewhere. We have 60 of those, so we would need 40. That's still better than 100 and 100. I think we got 20 Kindred fragments at some point, but like let's say this is 20 and 40. That puts us at needing 360, which is a little more than we have, so if we can swap out Nidalee, that would actually be really good for us. And then we still need some solution for the last thing. This is probably going to be Elder Dragon, because going through that adventure, we get Elder Dragon fragments, and I've talked out my video, which is unfortunate. Should have started it a little bit earlier in that run, but, you know, we do our best. So that's kind of where we are. For adventures, we have finished 162. We have 46 remaining, which is an average of 3.8 a day. And we finished off the Colossus. We still need to do a little bit on Daughter of the Void because we haven't really secured a Shurima or Bandle City champion. And then basically Bandle City, Freljord, Shadow Isles, and Shurima are what we're lacking in most of these instances. A couple of Noxus as well. We might Swain is 3 stars, so he should be able to get through all that stuff, and it shouldn't be that big of a deal. We don't have a second Ionia champion, like at all. My plan was Ari, but we never got Curator's Gatebreaker, so that might not be worth it. We have some Lilia fragments. like 45. So that might be what we end up doing. Lilia's fine. She's very good. So I don't think that'll be that bad. But we have filled in a lot of requirements. We also finished all of the Noxian Grand General. And we are through... What is this? I need to count. 7 out of 16 of the Frost Switch, which are like the main problems. And then of course the Ancient Fear 6.5. I haven't done any of them, but Jin will be able to clear no problem. Actually, I thought I did that, but maybe I didn't. Did I or did I not do that? Let's find out. Nightmares, Shadow Isles. Okay, yeah, I haven't done that yet. And that does have a Platinum Vault, so I'll probably do that as the next thing I do. To see what's in that Platinum Vault. And then we just have the rest of the event to finish out. But that's going really well. We just did the Targon requirement with Morgana. We still need a second Runeterra. Hopefully Elder Dragon can do that. I'm not sure how that works, considering that you lose 3 recards every round. But we'll have the fragments to get him to 3 stars, so here's hoping. And then I don't suspect that we'll have any problem with Bandle City, Shurima, or Targon here. So I need to do Morgana here. I think that's the last thing I have left to do. And then I'll be completely done with Targon. Here we're just going to throw Jin, and then we need a second Ionia champion, and then Bandle City will be Vhagar. So everything's coming together. One thing I realized is I really hate leveling. That brings me literally no joy. It is not fun at all in any way. And I don't like doing it, so I'm probably not going to go for the monthly challenges, just because that does take a lot of leveling, so that if you want the safety for it, so that your champions survive, and then you don't die, you need them, I would say at least level 10 for the early ones, and then you want level 20 for the later ones, and I just don't feel like I'm going to have the desire to do that. I'll probably do the monthlies for whatever I have leveled up anyway, which will probably just be those 16 champions to do Lissandra with, maybe 17. So that should take us to 51. So that's kind of my goal. But I don't want to level up more champions. It makes me want to not play. Anyway, that's where we're at. Things are going well, and I suspect that we'll be able to finish with very little problems. Things that I am afraid of is actually this last Ancient Fear, so it's going to be Jin and Elder Dragon. I'm not sure how the Elder Dragon run's going to go, and I'm a little frightened of that. I still don't have a good solution for Shurima, and needing a second Shadow Isles champion makes me a little bit worried, but it's Viego, so it might take a couple tries, but I think I'll get it. I don't think it'll be that bad. And then we're not worried about Bandle City at all. Frost Switch, obviously we still need to fill in a lot there, and that is going to take some time, but I don't think it'll be overly complicated. We need a second Ionia for this, but Lilia should be fine. Viego actually kind of sucks against the Unforgiven because of the ability to stun units, but it might still work out. If not, we can use whatever our second Shadow Isles champion is, maybe Vhagar. We'll see. I'm not worried about Aurelion Soul or anything less than that. So, yeah, I don't think there's any problems coming up, except for maybe that last Ancient Fear. And that's just a shard thing. For example, if I had Varus, that would be an easy win, for sure. Or not for this. That's for the Card Master. What am I thinking? Actually, Fiddlesticks will probably be fine. So Jin and Fiddlesticks. I'm not worried about anything. What am I talking about? Alright, so we're good. Everything should be perfectly fine and will be great. Anyway, that is all for me. Thank you for watching. If you like what I'm doing, like and subscribe. And I'll try to better time my video next time. Goodbye.